Hello and welcome to my report on the solar PV and Powerwall performance at our property for July 2020. Last month I opened the report with a reminder of the components that make up our system, so this month I'll go straight into the graphs and figures. July 2020 was the month that my mother-in-law had her 100th birthday. Her summary a few days ago was what a pathetically dreary month it's been. Here's the first graph, morphing from May through June to July, which shows the electrical energy coming into the property on each day of the month. The total solar production this month was 756 kilowatt hours, which represents 91.6% of the electrical energy that came into the property. 10.6% of the total energy coming in, or 11.6% of the solar production, that's 87 kilowatt hours, was exported to the grid. 70 kilowatt hours of grid energy was imported, including 4 units of peak electricity. The electric shower in the annex above the garage has been in use after 8 AM, i.e. in peak time, and with the Powerwall only able to give out 5 kilowatts, that has meant a little bit of peak grid energy has been pulled on each of the mornings when the solar hadn't risen enough to produce the remainder of the shower's power requirement. Here's the second graph, which shows where the energy used by the property came from, as reported by the Tesla app. The figures suggest that 90.5% of the energy used came from solar, with 48.1% being used directly. The Powerwall needed a few boosts during the month, resulting in 3.1% of the energy coming out of the battery having originated from the grid. We had a couple of trips away during the month, one of which was for the 100th birthday, and on a few other days the energy requirement was artificially reduced by having the pool pump on for fewer hours. This obviously helped keep the contribution from solar above 90%. Here's the third graph. The Tesla app says the proportion of self-power over the month was 94%, the highest percentage of the year, but remember that the overall energy usage was less. That figure is a rounding up from 93.6%, which you can deduce from the previous graph, with 3.1% of that having originally come from the grid. Here's the graph of the solar southwest production over the years. Finally, I have to say it, as my mother-in-law implied, that this has been the worst July since the panels were installed. 451 kilowatt hours is 2 units lower than 2012's 453. I don't remember the month leading up to the 2012 Olympics being as gloomy as this July. Even April was better than July this year. This cumulative view of the year's production shows that 2020 still just maintains its lead at this stage over the previous 8 years, but the lead over 2015 is now reduced to just 41 units. Come on August, the best Solar Southwest August so far was 453 in 2016, so unless it's a new record, it is unlikely to beat July or April. Finally, here's the energy input to the property for each day since the 1st of February. The solar orange and yellow is clearly reducing from the highs back in May, and it will be downwards all the way to the end of the year, I expect. What surprised me a little bit was how good the solar production was back in April. The weeks when the storage heaters weren't being used, so there was no grey representing grid input, have taller bars for the solar than July. That's it for this month. As usual, we'll leave you with the energy usage graphs from the Tesla app for each day of July, and hope to see you again next month.